So welcome back again. Those who have just started watching this video, I'm Praveen. I'm professor at MIT ADT University, part-time, and I'm teaching managing sustainability. So those who want to look can pause the video and look at what we are going to cover. We make sustainability profitable for businesses. Of course, it can save your life. It can help you live. It's a choice of living sick and dying 80 years or healthy and young 140 years. So this is the choice of, but it can also help you make a lot of profit, helps you make a business sustainable as well as more profitable. Today we are covering sustainability reporting. We're already in midst of it, so you can watch my previous video if you want to continue. We already covered a bit in metrics because especially the international reporting were covered last week, which is again video should be available in the YouTube. If you're not, just comment in any other video and we'll let you do that. So what we are covering today is sustainability reporting from India perspective. Basically, you can say that. We covered the reporting already in the videos. It's more from India, what is, and we probably, there's a requirement of another, what happened recently, because these, I know, these slides are 1 year old. So we will change this slide as well. So yeah, let's coming back to this guy. We were discussing business benefit of integrating this NGRBC. Those who don't know, we were just discussing that this is the Indian regulations for sustainability reporting. Okay, so we covered up to number 2 points, but what are the principles of this guy? Integrity, ethics, transparency, and accountability, safe and sustainable goods and practices, well-being of employees, respect and responsibility to all stakeholders, respect and promote human rights. And you can see this is what we are teaching you guys, right? So it's kind of the law is catching up to what we were teaching for a while now. This is a kind of a summarizing what is like it's one of those unit topics like which we were covering, right? So right. So but this okay. Let's see why we take well-being of employees. Increase productivity, high morale, and reduce absenteeism. So right. So when you take care of employees, your productivity increases, right? And employee become inclusive, right? Become part of your. See, if your employees have a feeling that hey, the company is killing you, like because I'm working for this company, like I'm working 1 day but I'm losing 10 days of a life, it may not feel like working, and so that's one more. So if you well-being of employees very important, like safety, no accidents, better environment, safe environment. Of course, there are many principles. I'm not going to cover all this. What are the improved labor relations leading to less disruption? Of course, when you take care of employees, of course, there will be less attract and retain quality employees. Like you have to be fair employer of choice. So that's why you should principle of well-being and of employee. Again, this also reflects your sustainable organization as well, because companies are run by employee. Of course, these days these are not so longer true because I can run the company completely on automation. So I could have a zero employee company these days. So entrepreneur can actually start a company and have zero employee and still service millions of customers all automatically. So of course, this is no longer being like employees is no longer an essential part of an organization. But if you do have employees, you better take care of them, because obviously if employees are the part of the organization, they are the critical infrastructure, and obviously is a big cost to the organization. Respect and responsiveness to all stakeholders, new customer loyalty and positively seen by customers. So you've been seen as a good organization. Efficiency gain across procurement, production, distribution, that's the saving. Good governance practices are attractive to investors and bank. Positively seen by stakeholders, communities, NGOs, or government regulators, attract and retain quality employees. Okay. Respect and promotes human rights. Assist to international capital and developed country markets. Enhance productivity. Good governance practices are attractive to investors, banks, and investors. Positively seen by communities and NGOs. Lower risk for compliance. Attract and retain quality employees. Positively seen by customers. So you can see all of these have a lot of benefits, right? Revenue growth, cost savings and productivity, access to capital, risk management, license to operate, human capital, brand value, and reputation. And of course, one of the biggest thing is your company will not go bankrupt. So one of the biggest issue of not following sustainability is that you risk going bankrupt. Because if you can't assume that you will continue to destroy your employee as well as consumers and continue to operate. We have seen that again and again. 99% of the company flop these days because they don't follow sustainable principles. So it's pretty important. If you want to do your business, this is important, very important. Self-assessment, you can do a lot of things on self-assessment just to know where you are. Completeness, ambition, right? Section B, high, all complete, medium. So question 1, 5, 7, 8, and 10 others to complete. Low, question 1 complete, question 5 or 7, or question 8 and 7 of others complete. Other 5, question 5 and 5 others complete. Section 6, principle 1 to 9, all complete, all essential and some leadership complete, all essential complete, some but not all essential complete. So these are the different level you can achieve overall above 180, medium, low, and below. So 180. So these are the how much you can complete. So now, how is SDG, Sustainable Development Goals of UN, against NBRBC? So as I told, these are not coming from vacuum. These are being enhanced with other what's happening across the world or what's happening in the reporting framework. So this is how it is being mapped. You can say that. So SDG has 17 goals, and this is how it is mapped. And again, you don't have to remember the exact mapping, so you kind of need to know the rough estimation. So we are not looking to people to remember exactly 2 is being mapped to 2P2, but we want to know the principle. Whenever I teach, what is more important than memory is the principle, how do you apply them, So these are getting mapped, and if there's a question in exam, it will probably be very generic, hey, map any whatever you remember, map 5 of them, So there are so many questions, how do you map any 5 of them? So it's pretty generic, not exactly, but you need to know somewhat. So you need to know what are these things, a little bit SDG and little bit of what Indian standards are. And again, there's Indian laws as well, which was, as I said, this is nothing new. There were environmental laws, there were employees laws, there were labor laws before also. There was Consumer Protection Act as well. You could kill a consumer in 10 years, but you can't kill them in 1 year or instantly. It was allowed, so you can't kill them immediately, but you can kill them. So it's still allowed, but okay. So they are coming up protection in Consumer Protection Act, 1986. So it's somewhat mapped to it. I will not cover in detail here now. I can pause and read it. If you have questions, you can ask me here. Two basic approaches: claims, using GRI standard as a set to prepare a sustainable report in accordance with the standards, using selected standard or part of the content to report specific information, GRI reference claim. If an organizer wants to report on a specific economic, environmental, and other social impact, but not intend to use the GRI standard to provide a full picture of this material topics and related impact, for example, an organizer might want to report on its impact to biodiversity for certain stakeholder group. In this case, the organizer should use the disclosure form GRI 103 management approach and GRI 304 biodiversity, and should include the required GRI reference claim if any, and published material based on the standards. So how do you start developing sustainability reports, right? Start collecting, complying your reporting data, consult an expert if needed for hand-holding and report writing. Or you can study your own. There's nothing, as I said, it's all open standard. Many of these are openly. If there's a law by India, it's again pretty open. Decide if your organization wants to opt for assurance, contract assurance provider if necessary, publish your sustainability report. In accordance, core, minimum information, comprehensive, extensive information. Core report contains minimum information needed to understand the nature of the organization, its material, topics, and related impacts, and how these are managed. Comprehensive, build on core option by requiring additional disclosure on organization strategy, ethics, and integrity and governance. In addition, the organization is required to report more extensively on its impact by reporting all the topic-specific disclosure for each material topic covered by GRS. And I'll be back in like 1 minute, okay? Resume recording. Okay, so we see the core and comprehensive. So what it completely contains. There are KPIs, key performance indicators. Sustainable performance indicators are sustainable development indicators, measure of company's performance, monitors and reports on future progress. Economic performance indicator, for example, company turnover, profit, quality, asset. Sustainability is also about making more profit, making more revenue. So sustainability is the overall thing. You cannot be sustainable, called sustainable if you're making a loss. And that's why most of the NGO and charities are not sustainable, because they don't make profit. And that's why they are not able to solve the problem. They are able to patch up, help few people, but they are not really able to make any big difference to human population. It's the corporate who makes the profit is actually servicing the entire humanity. So humanity is actually being serviced by businesses. Like, if you are doing anything in life, right? It's being done by corporate, whether you like it or not. Like, if you're alive today because somebody gave you the vaccine and somebody sold the vaccine, right? So it's corporate which runs the entire humanity. And that's why it's important that economic is always kept in mind. Like, you need to be economically sustainable. That's the bottom line. And this is where most of the company flops, like whether they follow because they don't follow social and performance, they make more loss and hence they go bankrupt. So 99% of the current corporate world goes bankrupt. So that's a pretty bad indicator of the way corporate runs. But we are trying to improve. We are trying to make more company more profitable and more sustainable. So social performance indicator, for example, labor practices, human rights, broader issue affecting consumers and other stakeholders. And again, in this personal intact is like, we should educate our population and we should not depend on labor, right? Is like you should automate it. So we will be hiring employees, not that we'll not be hiring employees, but they will be mostly to do the automation part. Right now we have like around more than 100,000 humans die per day. So we need around 10 billion new humans to work on automation so that we can save those, because saving one human requires at least 10 to 20 human. So human life is very precious. In fact, the one guy in UK has kept a record, like how many doctors and nurses were involved in saving life, and he had hundreds of lists which serviced him over life. And if you include all shopkeepers and your vendors and electricity, like that, probably to continue living a life here, you need help from at least 10,000 humans. So so human life is very valuable and require a lot of human input. Right. Social performance indicators, and but if you're hiring labor, you need to follow all the labor practices. I will say any manual work, please automate it. Please educate your labor and make them more productive. Environmental performance indicator, for example, greenhouse emission, water consumption, and waste and output. Report content principles, stakeholder inclusiveness. The reporting organization shall identify stakeholders and explain how it responded to the reasonable expectation and interest. Sustainability context, the report shall present the reporting organization performance in wider context of sustainability. Okay, just a minute. Let's see. Okay, so reporting, we were discussing this guy, stakeholder inclusiveness, sustainability context. The report shall present the reporting organization performance in wider context of sustainability. Materiality, the report shall cover topics which affect the reporting organization significant economic and environmental and social impact, or substantively influence the assessment and decision of stakeholders. As the materiality, as we have seen, is how important is that point with respect to your organization, or with respect to your profit, with respect to your revenues. Completeness, the report shall include complete coverage of material topics and their boundaries, insufficient to reflect significant economic, environmental, and social impact, and to enable stakeholders to assess the reporting organization performance in the reporting period. Right. So materiality matrix. And again, this is obviously, this is just graph just for people to understand easy. higher. As I said, like you need not be 100% compliant from day one. You should, but you should make a start. Like I said, you can't go to zero profit day one. It might take 10 years, but that's the point, right? You have to keep making less expenses. So stop making expenses and keep increasing your profit and keep improving your performance. That's the way to life. So and obviously reduce your pollution and become net zero, become net negative actually. As I said, you can use these guys now to make profit actually. And actually you have additional line of business as well. Upon like you can start making more renewable energy, and instead of buying electricity from other vendors, you can actually start selling them to your neighbors. Right. So let's come here. Impact to the business: lower communicable disease. Obviously, business doesn't have it, but of course, food companies have a big impact on that. Even though the impact to business are low, it is very severe for farm producers. Like farmers are more and more food producers using sewage water, which has a high risk of spreading diseases. So that's one of the things, and especially people are trying to eat fresh leaves and other stuff, but fresh leaf could also carry the deadly pathogens. So there's a catch-22 situation now, right? So even though it is less for most communicable disease, less for businesses impact, but it's very high for different sector, right? If you're in a food business, it's very high. You need to know what is pasteurized and saturated. I've been from the food background. It's one of the most important aspects we take care. So we make sure that the food will not make, because I said, like, you can kill a person in 10 years, but you can't kill the person right away. So that's the law currently, and that is very important. Like if you are selling food, you can kill them in 10 years. Nobody will question you, but you can't kill them. You can't give them disease today. Okay. So that's what communicable disease does. But as I said, you don't have to kill them even in 100 years, right? Why you should actually, every time they eat your food, they should get 2 days extra life rather than losing 2 days extra life. So that should be your principle, like, get a consumer and get more consumer from it. Responsible for use of innovation and technology. Of course, you need to innovate. As I said, like, you need to continuously improve your technology offerings, like reduce your cost, have better offerings, like, today's save few more people, offer few more, help few more people, offer more. So employee well-being is again important. As I said, like, it's a creativity world, and again, my principle is, like, you should automate everything, and the employees should be used to automate all the stuff, because it's the age of automation, and this is one of the sustainable, especially for financial, because if the human does a work, he can do a work of one human. But if I can automate, if I can put a robot engineer, automation engineer, and automate that work, that can do work of thousands of humans. So that is the benefit of automation. It of course requires an upfront. Either you have to pay like experts like us, which can get it done for you, or you have to do it on your own. When in that case, it costs you a lot of money. It's upfront money, but of course it saves you money. Employee well-being, data security and privacy, which has huge impact, because if you release data of somebody, it is obviously big impact. And of course, this is tax and economic contribution, consumer sustainability. These are high impact on business, trusted products and ethics, values and culture, human rights, water, nutrition and diets, packaging and waste, deforestation, agriculture. These are some of the high things which people understand. Human rights and opportunity, climate change. These are sanitation and higher, like impact on stakeholders, trust, economic inclusion, animal testing and welfare. This in the lower side of impact to business, unless you are in the business of animal. And again, my personal opinion is that we should reduce the dependency of animal as much as possible. So it's like, we should, apart from if we should try to move away, like, from cow milk to milk produced with cow gene, right? So basically, but again, it's over time. We will go there, but for now, we are using animals in everywhere aspect of life. Fair compensation, non-agriculture sourcing, responsible marketing and advertising. So these are some of the materiality metrics And I will say that everybody, if you are in your business, anything applies to you, you should be taking importance on it. May not be today, maybe you, but should be aware of it. Report quality, again, reporting in one thing, but the quality of report also matter. The data quality also matter. Like how good are you in collecting data? Because report is as good as the data. If the data is not good, then report is no good. Accuracy, substantially accurate and detailed for stakeholders. Balance, reflect positive and negative aspect of reporting on its performance. Clarity, make information available in a manner that is understandable and accessible to stakeholder using that information. Comparability, select, compile, and report information consistently to enable stakeholders to analyze changes into the organization performance over time and support analysis related to other organization. Reliability, gather, record, compile, analyze, and report information and process in a way that can be subject to examination and can be established the quality and materiality. Timeliness in reporting the cell report on a regular basis so that information available to all for stakeholders to make informed decisions. So these are the report quality, so everything matters. Sustainability assurance. Once the sustainable report is ready, organization can opt for external assurance. Third-party sustainable reporting assurance or verification can provide both report releases and internal manager with increased confidence in the quality of sustainable performance data, making more likely that data will be relied on and used for decisions. It's same thing like that, whether when you are doing an audit for an organization, you may not be required to do an audit. Say if you're a small business, but if you do the audit, it's better for you. So that's pretty much for reporting things. Anybody has any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so let's look into the case study. I know this is not part of the course structure, but India, because you guys are operating in India, I said like it's better to include something on India thing rather than on the international things. So let's look into like Mahindra, right? Mahindra is one of the Indian company. So let's see if the URL contains that link. Okay, so yeah, that's the report. Let's see. Usually, I hopefully I downloaded the report last time. We saw that they changed the reporting guidelines. So let's go here. Right. So let's come here. Yeah, I just said like they do keep changing this stuff. Right. So Mahindra, let's see if we can find the new link. And again, you can actually, as I said, like any company, you can actually, yeah, so the link has changed. And again, this is like a bad principal practices. Like people, it's pretty easy to basically map, but I think it's like okay, but yeah, again, you're not supposed to. Okay, so this is what we have to follow now. So I will urge you guys to go here to this guy. So these are the commitment provided by Mahindra's, right? So yeah, so there's the sustainability report. So now we talked about theory, right? Point one, question 6, question 7. So what are those things? So this will give you exactly what it translates, like how does regulation, and this is you if you are working in the top 1,000 company, this is the one, and probably it will become mandatory to all big organizations coming soon. Yeah, can So like, so while you guys are waiting, like you can actually try downloading the report yourself, and probably this could be a task for today. Like go through the report in detail, see what they have included, research what's been done with India, because especially this is very important for you guys, as I said, because you guys will be operating in India. Of course, in future you may move to another country, but as of now, you will be leading the Indian business. Right. Okay. Let it download, and in the meantime, what I'll do, I'll just see you to one of the past reports. Okay. So let's go here. Because they do changes. Luckily, I downloaded this last year, so this is last year report, so which may change, but okay, this report cannot change. Okay, what they would have done is they have published a new report for the current last financial year. So right, so this is Mahindra, and of course they've used a lot of icons, which familiar icons, which obviously for making it look pretty. So these are the SDGs. These are Sustainable Development Goals. These are UN principles, right? So this is how they are a contribution to SDGs. Right. So let's see. Okay. Okay. So probably it's a very heavy report, so that's why you can see that they have used heavy graphics on it. Right. So let's come back to the old report actually. Yeah. So, but I'll urge you to download the new report and try to read it. You can also compare with other companies how they're doing it. So these are some of the principles which these organizations came, right? And you can so it contains like what was the country goal and how is they are trying to help to set ball rolling in the government India's so think tank to perform detailed mapping of 70 SDGs and 716 targets to nodal central emergency and central response schemes and measures. So basically, Mahindra Group, they are committed to SDG. So far, the group has taken various initiatives, and this is what this, and of course, there's a message from the chairman. And again, it's standard reporting, right? Even in normal reporting, they do have these kinds of things. Right. So these are right. So Mahindra, is driving rural prosperity, mobility solutions, um, uh, tracked as it pretty much used nurturing new business and fostering. Is more than 100 countries employing over 240,000. These are some of the things, and this is how they map. So what they did for one and what they did for number two. Let's see this call. So this is what they did: vision and mission. And of course, there are multiple companies, not just one company, but as I said, there are a group of companies, and these are their missions. Like we'll constantly achieve top quality growth. And they have a strong history. They have started reporting on this in 2016. So you can actually see we are actually seeing one of the past report, because the current report is still reporting. Okay, so what we can do is, instead of doing that, what can be done here? Right click, save link as. So this probably might work. Let's get this guy, because probably it's a pretty big report, which browser running out of RAM or something. Right, so let's keep going back to the other report. So I think we are done on this topic. I will let you guys go through the detailed report yourself and see what they have done. It's basically, if you see whatever we were discussing so far, this is comprising some of the principles, especially from reporting, which makes it more valuable, because now we are actually reporting metrics and data. And you can see they are pretty detailed what they are doing in each aspect of it. How they're trying to address zero hunger. And this will also a refresher on SDG's goal, actually. You may not even know what SDG 3 is. So SDG 3 is all about good health and well-being. Oh, so probably there is some problem in their current report. So what I will do is I will drop this this one in your current chart, last year one, so you can go through that. Okay. So okay, let's drop you in this. I'll drop you into WhatsApp, so that you guys can download it and go through it. Sometimes they are not an IT company, so we can see that. But you can actually go through the site. So that's which is about the goals and what they're trying to do. Sustainable program, LDD effects. So there's you can. And we can actually go through like what each companies are trying to do what. And these are some of the link they have. Good. Any questions?
Sir, one question. I mean, since we are talking about reporting, so for example, like these automotives, right? When they launch a product, EV product, so typically they mention it as a green, right? So which is kind of helping to reduce the carbon footprint ultimately.
No, green doesn't mean anything like that. So basically, if you see EV, right? I know. So they're like vague terms which we call greenwashing. So it is not pointing. So basically, you saw those reporting and they have points. So if you're doing that, it's a green. You can't term EV as green, but how do you term EV as green? It's really not green, right? It depends on what you do. How do you manufacture it? What is your carbon footprint? That's what
nowadays, like I mean, might be I'm wrong, but I saw like Tata electrical, vehicles. They are somewhere showing green.
Yeah, you can show green, but green doesn't mean anything. The detail is in the detail, right? Detailed report. Like what is your carbon footprint? What is your economic? What is the pollution you're causing? Are you importing your battery? Where is this come? Where is the source of that electricity? So there are a lot of questions to be asked.